Have you ever paused to wonder why your heart feels different after 60? Maybe you've noticed a flutter while climbing stairs. Or perhaps after a simple walk around the block, your chest tightens slightly, just enough to make you stop but not enough to worry. Yet, many seniors across the U.S. In today's episode of Elderly Reflections, we'll uncover 6 hidden signs your heart may be quietly struggling. These aren't dramatic heart attacks. They're the subtle, sneaky signals that most people overlook until it's too late. We'll share real-life stories of older adults who experienced these signs and what they wish they had known earlier. This isn't just a medical checklist. It's a wake-up call, a chance to listen to your body and protect your independence, peace, and years ahead. Because sometimes the difference between regret and relief is just one decision: to pay attention. Don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Reflections and turn on the bell icon. We bring you weekly insights on senior health, elderly wisdom, and true stories that inspire. After 60, many seniors notice changes in their bodies that they often brush off as normal aging. But some of those quiet signals may be early cries from the heart, subtle warnings that something deeper is happening. In this episode of Elderly Reflections, we explore 6 hidden signs your heart may be struggling. This is more than a medical checklist. It's about recognizing early symptoms, understanding their meaning, and honoring the stories of real people from the US, Canada, and Europe who've lived through these lessons. We share these reflections not to scare, but to inspire action, clarity, and care. Let's begin with a sign so common it often gets ignored, a type of tiredness that rest simply can't fix. Persistent, unexplained fatigue is one of the most overlooked symptoms of heart failure. Seniors often report a tiredness that rest doesn't cure, a heaviness that makes getting out of bed feel like a chore. According to the American Heart Association, this occurs when the heart can't pump enough oxygen-rich blood to meet the body's needs. Muscles tire easily, energy drains, and even simple tasks begin to feel overwhelming. Mr. Harold Reynolds, 72, from Nebraska, was an active man who gardened daily and walked every morning. Over time, his energy vanished. He began missing church, forgetting social plans, and nodding off mid-conversation. "I just figured I was slowing down with age," he said. But tests revealed early-stage heart failure. His fatigue wasn't laziness or depression, it was his heart working overtime. At Elderly Reflections, we've heard dozens of similar stories. What many dismiss as just getting old may be the body's first whisper for help. Next, we turn to something you might notice during your daily routine: shortness of breath where there used to be none. If walking across the room or climbing stairs suddenly makes you breathless, pay attention. Shortness of breath, especially when lying flat or during mild activity, is often caused by fluid building up in the lungs. A classic sign of heart dysfunction? Evelyn Morris, 68, from Dublin, used to volunteer every weekend unloading boxes at a local food pantry, but then she found herself needing to sit down often. Carrying canned goods felt like lifting bricks, she joked, brushing off her symptoms. But when her breathlessness worsened during sleep, she saw a doctor. Tests showed a weakened heart and fluid in her lungs. "I thought I was just out of shape," she admitted, "but my heart had other plans." Recognizing this sign early helped Evelyn get back on track. With medication and rehab, many seniors, especially those living alone, downplay symptoms to stay independent. But ignoring breathlessness can lead to rapid deterioration. Now let's look at a visible physical clue that might show up in your legs or feet. Swelling that's easy to miss, yet hard to ignore once you notice. If your socks leave deep marks or your shoes feel tight, even after minimal walking. George Patterson, 74, from Leeds, started noticing his favorite boots no longer fit. "My wife thought I was gaining weight, but only my legs were puffing up," he said. After delaying his checkup, a cardiologist confirmed early signs of congestive heart failure. Fluid had been pooling for weeks. He hadn't felt chest pain or dizziness, just swollen limbs. As we often say in Elderly Reflections, when your feet swell, don't just change your shoes, check your heart. Up next is something you might feel when you're sitting quietly: a heart that skips, flutters, or races without warning. Many seniors describe a feeling like the heart flipping, skipping, or fluttering, especially when at rest. These are often symptoms of arrhythmia, such as atrial fibrillation, which increase the risk of stroke and heart failure. Helen Russo, 69, a retired librarian from Boston, experienced this while reading. "My heart would suddenly stutter. Just for a second, it felt odd but not painful," she explained. Over weeks, it became more frequent. Eventually, she got tested and was diagnosed with AFib. With treatment, her symptoms stabilized, but she now encourages friends not to ignore strange heart sensations. Don't wait for pain, she warns. Wait for peace of mind instead. Another warning comes not during the day, but in the quiet hours of the night. In how you sleep or struggle to. Needing to prop yourself up with pillows or waking up gasping for air are serious signs. They may indicate fluid is backing into the lungs, especially if the heart is struggling to pump efficiently. Maurice Jenkins, 77, from Ontario.
It was the only way I could breathe easily, he said.
He also began waking 3 to 4 times a night to urinate, which his doctor later explained was due to fluid redistribution. These are classic symptoms of heart failure that worsen when lying down. Maurice's story is a vital reflection for seniors. When sleep becomes disrupted, it's often your heart trying to get your attention. And finally, we arrive at a sign that many seniors overlook because it feels harmless, but might be anything but. When your heart weakens, it prioritizes blood flow to vital organs and pulls back from the extremities. That's why cold fingers, toes, and even a bluish tint in lips or nails can signal heart issues. Deanna Schultz, 70, a retired music teacher from Oregon, noticed her hands turning icy during her knitting sessions. Even with gloves and heating, they stayed cold. Her doctor confirmed low-output heart failure, which was silently reducing circulation. With treatment and lifestyle changes, Diana improved, but only because she didn't ignore what her body was saying. Many seniors think being cold is a normal part of aging. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's a message from your heart. These 6 signs might seem minor on their own: tiredness, breathlessness, swelling, fluttering, sleep issues, cold limbs, but when viewed together, they form a clear picture of heart strain. At Elderly Reflections, we believe these aren't just health tips, they are life lessons from the elderly, warnings etched into experience. If even one of these signs sounds familiar, don't wait, talk to your doctor, ask questions, advocate for your heart, because after 60, your heart still wants to carry you forward. It just needs you to carry a little more awareness in return. So if you're watching this and thinking, that sounds like me, or that reminds me of someone I love, don't ignore that voice. You've just been handed the most powerful gift, awareness. And what you do next may shape the years to come. But what stops so many seniors from acting on these signs, even when they feel something is wrong? A key factor is fear. Fear of hospitals, fear of losing independence, fear of what the tests might say. This emotional weight can be just as dangerous as the physical symptoms. Take Pauline, 73, from Manchester. She had been feeling weak for months, needing frequent rest, and losing her appetite. Her daughter begged her to see a doctor. Pauline replied, "If I go in, I might never come out." Her story changed after a minor fall at the market led to a full workup. The result: advanced heart valve disease. After successful surgery, she told our team at Elderly Reflections, "I feared the hospital more than the truth. Now I see that truth gave me more years with my grandchildren." Then there's the issue of misattribution. Many seniors blame their discomfort on unrelated issues, digestion, arthritis, or anxiety, without realizing these may be masks hiding deeper cardiac distress. Frank, 78, from Minnesota, began experiencing chest pressure and nausea after dinner. He thought it was acid reflux. Over-the-counter medication didn't help, but he brushed it off. One morning while walking his dog, he collapsed. The heart attack came silently and almost cost him his life. In recovery, he shared, "I wish someone had told me that heart symptoms aren't always dramatic. Sometimes they whisper through your stomach." Another obstacle is pride. Some older men in particular struggle to admit when something feels off. There's a generational code of toughness, of not wanting to make a fuss. James, 80, from Alberta, was one of them. "I worked through back pain, frostbite, and broken bones. This heart flutter felt like nothing," he said. His wife finally drove him to the ER when he fainted while shaving. AFib was diagnosed with clot risk so high, he was lucky it didn't lead to a stroke. James now speaks at local senior centers, sharing what he calls the dumbest near decision of his life. "Being tough is knowing when to ask for help," he says. Even healthcare systems can play a role. Many seniors feel rushed during appointments, afraid to bring up one more thing. But sometimes that one more thing, like swelling ankles, waking at night, or unusual fatigue, is the heart's final signal before crisis. In Elderly Reflections, we've heard from nurses who say, the difference between a manageable condition and an emergency often comes down to whether someone spoke up during that crucial check-in. Let us remember, every story shared here didn't have to happen. Each moment of collapse, each missed birthday, each emergency could have been prevented with earlier recognition. They're not just statistics, but living archives of wisdom. Elderly wisdom isn't just about lessons from the past. It's about choices in the present that shape the future. It's what inspires the work we do and why we believe that sharing these experiences will save lives. So as you reflect on these stories, ask yourself, are there signs in your own life that you've dismissed? Is there someone close to you showing these signals, quietly enduring what could be the start of something serious? Maybe it's time for a conversation, a gentle question, a trip to the doctor, a test you've been putting off. Don't let pride, fear, or uncertainty write your story. Choose prevention, choose reflection. Choose one more tomorrow, because at Elderly Reflections, we don't just talk about health. We talk about life and how to protect every day of it, one heartbeat at a time. Still, there's one more layer we haven't touched, the role of community and conversation. When seniors suffer in silence, not only do they risk their health, but they also rob others of the chance to help. Clara, 76 from Vermont, lived alone after her husband passed. She was experiencing fatigue and dizziness, but kept quiet because, in her words, no one wants to hear an old lady complain. Her neighbor, noticing her sitting more and walking less, finally knocked and asked, "Are you okay?" That one moment led to a doctor's visit that revealed a blockage in her arteries. Clara cried when she told us, sometimes what saves you isn't medicine first. It's someone who cares enough to ask. In our Elderly Reflections interviews, this theme repeats. The power of connection, the value of speaking up, of listening in, of noticing the tiny shifts in routine that might mean something is wrong. It's why community centers, senior fitness groups, and church gatherings play such an important role. Health isn't only about pills and checkups. It's about being seen, being heard, being valued. We also hear from caregivers who say, if I'd known the signs earlier, I would have done more, like Enrique, 59, whose mother Rosa ignored her breathlessness for too long. She didn't want to bother anyone, he shared. Now I tell everyone, if you notice something off in your parent or loved one, push gently, but don't ignore it. Be their voice if they're too tired to speak. That's what we call generational reflection. When one story teaches another how to avoid the same pain. As we close this part, let's remember, ignoring signs is human, but listening and acting is powerful. Especially in this stage of life, when every year, every smile, every shared meal becomes more precious. Awareness is not just a medical tool, it's an act of love for yourself, for those who care about you, and for life you still have a power to shape. Stay with us for the final part of this video, where we move from warning signs and near misses to healing, solutions, and stories of strength after diagnosis. Because in the Elderly Reflections community, hope isn't just something we believe in, it's something we build. One choice, one checkup, one changed habit at a time. Knowing the signs is the first step. Facing them and choosing to act is the step that changes everything. In this final part, we look at what happens when seniors respond to heart strain early. These are stories of healing, not just from a medical standpoint, but emotional and spiritual ones too. Because the heart isn't just a muscle, it's memory, it's resilience, it's life. Let's begin with Anna, 66 from New Jersey. After watching a program on elderly heart health, she recognized her nightly breathlessness and ankle swelling weren't just signs of aging. She made an appointment and was diagnosed with mild congestive heart failure. Her cardiologist said, "You came in at the right time. Not too early, not too late." Anna began cardiac rehab, adjusted her salt intake, and started walking every morning. "I didn't just get my breath back," she said. "I got my confidence back." These small, manageable steps, walking 30 minutes a day, monitoring blood pressure, drinking more water, are not dramatic, but they are transformative. Elderly Reflections often reminds our community, longevity isn't about living forever, it's about living fuller, even in your later years. For Harold, 79, that meant joining a local Tai Chi class. Diagnosed with arrhythmia, he was told stress played a role in triggering his condition. He said, "When I started moving slowly, I started thinking clearly. I began hearing my body again." Food, too, becomes a form of medicine. After her diagnosis, Helen, 71 from Toronto, worked with a nutritionist to adopt a Mediterranean-style diet, rich in omega-3s, greens, and fiber. "At first I missed my bacon," she laughed, "but now I crave olive oil and grilled salmon." Who knew heart food could taste so good? Sometimes the solution isn't only personal, it's relational. We spoke to George, 82, who after suffering a mild stroke, was encouraged by his daughter to join a men's health group. "At first I thought, what am I going to do, sit and talk about pills?" But those weekly gatherings became the highlight of his week. "I learned what to eat, how to breathe better, how to live better." And I made friends. Real friends, not just neighbors. These stories have something in common. They are not built on miracles. They are built on action, a decision to speak up, a willingness to change, and most importantly, a belief that life after 60 still has chapters worth writing. In our Elderly Reflections community, we share a core truth. Healing is not about returning to the person you were. It's about becoming the person you still can be. Every lifestyle change, every support group joined, every medical visit attended. These are not signs of weakness. There are signs of wisdom, and yes, there are setbacks. Some days are harder, but as Evelyn, 75, told us after her second surgery, I may have a scar on my chest, but I also have a fire in my heart. I've lived too much to give up now. That's what senior motivation is. It's not rah-rah inspiration. It's quiet, powerful choice. To anyone watching this who's just received a diagnosis or who's supporting a loved one through recovery, hear this. You are not alone. There are communities, there are answers. There are better days ahead, and your story is still being written. At Elderly Reflections, we believe your heart isn't just something to monitor, it's something to honor, with care, with courage, with commitment, because life after 60 isn't the end. For many, it's finally the beginning of living deliberately, joyfully, and with deep appreciation for every single beat. Let's take it further. What actually makes a difference long-term? It's not just one-time changes, but consistency. Carolyn, 78, from Michigan, found that scheduling her week around heart-flashy routines gave her structure and peace of mind. Mondays were walking days with her neighbor. Wednesdays were for water aerobics. Fridays were for preparing homemade soups packed with potassium and fiber. Routine became my rhythm, she shared. And rhythm keeps the heart steady. Then there's the mental health connection. After his heart surgery, Simon, 81, from Edinburgh, fell into depression. I survived the operation but felt like I lost myself, he confessed. His daughter encouraged him to see a therapist, something he never imagined doing. That one step, talking about grief, fear, and aging, became just as healing as his physical therapy. Healing your heart also means healing what weighs on it, he now says to other seniors. Technology also plays a role in modern senior heart care. Wearable devices, like smartwatches and home blood pressure monitors, help seniors stay aware. But it's the mindset shift that matters most. We heard from Carla, 70, in Florida, who uses her smartwatch not just for alerts, but as motivation. Each heartbeat it tracks is a reminder I'm still here and still responsible for what I do with today. Faith and spirituality, for many, also become pillars during recovery. Reverend Thomas, 85, from Dublin, found strength in daily prayer and community outreach after his heart bypass. My recovery wasn't just about fixing my heart, it was about reopening it, he reflected. He began writing short reflections for his church newsletter, blending scripture with senior life lessons. Those writings now circulate widely online under the name Reflections from the Heart. These aren't just stories, they're blueprints. A guide to rebuilding after a diagnosis, a handbook for aging with intention, strength, and grace. And the most powerful page in that handbook? It's the one where you write your next move. Whether it's swapping salt for herbs, walking with a friend, joining a senior support group, or simply scheduling that overdue checkup. Every choice becomes a thread in the fabric of your resilience. Healing after 60 isn't about going back. It's about leaning forward. Gently, steadily, with wisdom gathered from years and courage drawn from what still lies ahead. So as we close this part of our Elderly Reflections journey, remember, your heart may have struggled, but it hasn't given up, and neither should you. The most important lesson in all of this is simple, yet powerful. Listen to your heart in every sense of the word. Because behind every quiet symptom, every unusual fatigue, every skipped beat, there could be a story waiting to be rewritten, not ended. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you for investing in your health, your future, and your peace of mind. At Elderly Reflections, we are committed to bringing you not just stories, but life-learning wisdom. Rooted in science, lived through experience, and carried by the voices of the elderly. If this video gave you something to think about, something to feel, or something to act on, we invite you to support our journey. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment of guidance, inspiration, or reflection. And now we'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from today? Let us know in the comments below. Your voice matters, and your story could help someone else start theirs.